long losing streak to the Celtics. The Celtics' 6-game win streak, their 8-game road winning streak, all comes crashing down tonight at a signature win in a very special season for the Detroit Pistons. The final score, Detroit 117, Boston 90.
I'm curious, are people upset about this loss? Now, I at least knew going into this the Pistons were good. And we'll get into the story that is of tonight's game is the Pistons. That's the story here. There's really nothing to look into this one here. Like Mr. Bubbles in our chat, I just wanted to say his name, Mr. Bubbles. He goes, what an embarrassing team. I just disagree. The Celtics are on a back-to-back. They're without Jaylen Brown and Luke Cornett. They had to call a bunch of G Leaguers to come up to fill their regular roster. They were down big, came back, tied the game up at halftime, and they ran out of gas. But to me, this was a look-ahead spot. The look-ahead spot. The Cavs are on deck. This happens in every single sport. And with the Celtics this year, you've seen it. This isn't the first time. The reason why I mentioned this, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I specifically said that the game to watch was the Dallas Mavericks game because they have New York on deck in Madison Square Garden in New York. And what happened? They looked ahead. Dallas rolled them. Dallas hasn't been that good since. It was a look-ahead spot. It happens. The Celtics have won 6 in a row. They've won now, 11 of 12 games, 11 of 13 games now. They need to be healthy. Jaylen Brown missed tonight. Cornett's been out for the last couple of nights. Could you at least maybe look at some other reasons to be upset? Maybe the bench didn't show out like you thought. Maybe the fact that they are a little bit shorter on bigs than you thought. Yeah, that's all real. But the fact of the matter is, don't get worked up about this loss. This was about the Pistons tonight. The Celtics battled back. They hung in there. They hit 23s tonight. The Celtics went 21 of 49 from 3 and lost. But it was the Pistons who matched it. Malik Beasley went 6 of 11. He hit, 2 threes in a row? Cade Cunningham led the way tonight. Tobias Harris is a good leader for them. The Pistons are the story. They're a hot team. They're put together. They run up and down the court. They're not that experienced, and they'll probably find out in the playoffs. But right now, if there's a team to talk about that is peaking, that should react and be excited about a 20-point win over the Celtics, it's Detroit. But if we're here and we're looking at the team and their loss, they're looking ahead to the Cavs on Friday night, and that's what matters. Sorry. In that league, that's how they play. The Celtics do have to find other ways to be motivated. I'm sure they knew who they were playing tonight. That's why probably Porzingis didn't play last night. And speaking of Porzingis, he had 11 points tonight. So maybe he was sick. Maybe there is something to him missing the other night. But I'm going to lead it off by saying this loss was a look ahead. And I'm going to call it. We used to do this with Bruins losses at times, scheduled losses. This was a look ahead, potentially scheduled loss. They're ready for the Cavs on. That's what's important. New York, they did it against the big teams. Their 2 worst losses of the year. Lakers and Detroit Pistons. I know some of you old timers get, your nostalgia of the 80s, Pistons and Lakers, 2 biggest losses of the year to the Celtics. Don't look into it other than they take care of business on Friday against the Cavs. You won't even think about this game. Scaz, you feel what I feel, or am I just overconfident here?
I'm kind of with you. I don't give it as so much as a look-ahead spot as the back-to-back thing. I thought this was the first time all year.
Didn't even really get into that point of it, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, this was kind of the first time all year they just looked fatigued. I think, earlier games where they struggled, it was an effort issue. It was the defense issue, those kind of things. I thought tonight, for the most part, those things were there. But turnovers. I mean, they had 8 turnovers in the first 12 minutes of the game, 13 minutes of the game.
Tatum had 4 of them.
4 of them. He could have had 5. They were given a team turnover on one of them. So that kind of stood out more to me, as they look like a team on the second night of a back-to-back that it wasn't all there. And you mentioned the Porzingis thing. Maybe he was sick last night, because I thought that was probably his worst game since returning from injury. He was getting worked at times down low, kind of getting beat up a little bit. He looked irritated at times during that game, which, could be a good thing going forward. But you need more than, their leading scorer off the bench that wasn't Peyton Pritchard had 3 points. So not going to win a ton of games with that performance off the bench, but you're missing Jalen. Tatum was good tonight, but not what he has been, turning the ball over too much. I thought tonight was more of a fatigue second night of a back-to-back thing than a look-ahead thing. I know we get worked up about the Cavs. It's a big game. They all count the same. It's still just a regular season game at the end of February. I do think they beat the Cavs on Friday, because that's what this team has done this year, is they show up for big games. They play a different level against, the best teams in the league, because that's who they are. So, good for the Pistons. Cade was very good tonight. Malik Beasley was, incredible. 9 of 13 at one point. So for me, just kind of a small blip. I think if you're going to be upset at anything, look at the bench, look at the turnovers. That's where I would start.
And they had a hell of a shooting night. Not many times do they waste hitting 23s in a game and lose. Just doesn't happen often. You want to react to this, 617-779-0985. You can join us on our YouTube chat as well. Terrace is in there. Says Pistons are a bigger threat than New York. Jackson in there. Rough loss. Guys did not have any energy in the second half. Porzingis was horrible in the post. And Holiday and Horford need to make their threes. So I'm not overreacting to tonight's loss. Just, I'm not going to do it. But I am impressed with the Pistons. Asor Thompson tonight, I know you didn't see much from him, but he's a big part of what they're trying to do. Cade Cunningham has really developed. I mean, they built the team around him, really. They have some other veterans in there, Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias Harris, former Philly guy. But just a solid veteran, right? Solid guy to have around a team. And then Malik Beasley just absolutely went off on the bench. 26 threes. He was the difference. He was awesome. Absolutely awesome tonight. And, when you look at the Pistons, there are some numbers here that I think people should know. The Celtics had a 12-game winning streak against the Pistons. The Pistons break a 12-game straight-up losing streak. Like the Celtics have always beaten the Pistons, right? They play the Pistons, they beat them. It's just as simple as that. Wasn't there a game a year or two ago where the Pistons were up big, Celtics came back and won the game?
It was last year, right around Christmas time. The Pistons were on that historic losing streak, and they almost beat the Celtics, but the Celtics came back and won.
There you go. So I feel like the Celtics tickle. Tonight's a good tickle for the Pistons. You beat the defending champions by 20 points. Sports radio in Detroit today will be, oh, baby, are the Pistons for real, right? That's what this is about. Like, the Pistons have won 8 in a row. They've covered the spread in every one of those games by 14 points. Something special's going on there. And if you like money, listen to this one. The Pistons are 33-24-2 against the spread this season. It's the best mark since 1995. Trent, you got to look that up for me. 1995 Detroit Pistons. I'm going to spitball a little bit here, but was Isaiah still? Joe Dumars was on the team. Oh, man. I think, Rodman was gone, right? He was already on the Bulls. Oh, 1995 Pistons. You got to look that up for me. We got to look into that in a minute here. Again, the phone number here, 617-779-0985. Scaz mentioned the back-to-back. Celtics now 5-4 on the back-to-backs this season. Last year, and we're going to get into some of the differences heading into tonight's game between last year and this year, but this one's a doozy. On a back-to-back last year, the Celtics went 12-2. It's unheard of. It's absolutely, they're 5-4 this year. With an older Al Horford, an older Drew Holiday. And is the bench deeper? I don't know. The Stay Ready crew probably weren't ready tonight. And not to give them an excuse, but they were flying guys in. I think Drew Peterson had a game winner for Maine last night, and they flew him in just to get extra bodies tonight. But as far as their bench, they're leaning on Jordan Walsh right now. I'm not too upset about the loss tonight. Now I want to know 1995 Pistons, though. I don't think it was Grant Hill, right? Because he was in Orlando? Oh, Grant Hill was on that team. Wow.
That was his first season in Detroit. Doug Collins coaching.
Ooh. All right. Allen Houston, great player.
Yep.
Really, really solid. This was before this was after New York, right? Because he got that big money.
You got a Providence guy and a UMass guy on the roster.
Lou Rowe.
Rookie year.
UMass, baby. He was the first pick in the second round, I believe. Okay, was Bob Curley on the team? Bobby Curley? He was a Boston College guy. Man, give me one more second. Let me think. The only other guy I can think of that maybe was on that team, he played for the Celtics once. Theo Ratliff.
Theo Ratliff on the team.
Yeah.
Rookie year.
So they had Grant Hill, Lou Rowe, and Theo Ratliff. That was their draft that year? Wow.
Grant Hill was the year before. I'm sorry.
Okay, fine. That's not bad drafting, though. I got nobody else. Who else was on that
Joe
team?
Dumars.
Yep, I mentioned him, yeah.
Otis Thorpe, Providence guy.
Oh, Otis Thorpe. Great. He played for the he won a championship with the Rockets the year before.
Terry Mills.
That dude could knock down threes like you couldn't believe.
Mark West.
Yep.
Steve Bardo.
Nope.
Michael Curry.
Oh, yeah, Michael Curry, good player.
Eric Lechner.
No.
Mark Masone. Yeah,
Nope.
McCone.
might as well be. Who was the point guard?
Lindsey Hunter.
Man. Taking you all back in time. I got to look this team up now. Because NBA Jam, it would have been Grant Hill and Joe Dumars. It's a pretty good team, right? Couple of Hall of Famers. All right, they went 46-36 that year. You're right, Doug Collins, head coach. Let's see here. Grant Hill averaged 20 points a game. Allen Houston, 19. He was solid. And I believe that was Joe. Yeah, Joe Dumars, one of his last years, averaged 12 points per game. Lou Rowe, 1.8, baby. Yeah. UMass refused to lose. Then Marcus Camby got drafted, and then it was like UMass was on the map, and then they got in trouble. We love UMass, though, because they're excellent. And friends of the show, Frank Martin, right? Frank Martin's our guy. Friend of the show, UMass, baby. Yeah. Always a chance to rep Lou Rowe, I will. Celtics lose tonight, 117-97. We'll have more for you guys coming up. But I see our buddy Justin and Lynn. Curious how he feels about it tonight. You might have to pot him up here for me, guys. Justin, what do you think of the Celtics tonight, buddy?
Hey, Joe. I just think it's not a reaction. I think the Celtics were just tired tonight on the second night of the back-to-back. And I just think, games like that are going to happen. And, we've talked about that a lot. We've seen the Celtics struggle sometimes on a back-to-back. And I think sometimes it's just something that is going to happen every once in a while.
Yep.
And I don't think it's a reason for overreaction.
Nothing to worry about, my man. Nothing to worry about. Allen Houston started in Detroit, then signed with the New York Knicks in '96. That's when they went on that big run. He was on those Knicks teams with Larry Johnson, Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Marcus Camby, Latrell Sprewell. Whew! Listen to that team, huh? They did go to the final, though, didn't they? Huh. Very interesting. I do want to play something coming up for you in a little bit here that I feel like we should at least mention regarding the Pistons. I believe there was an interview. I can't remember if it was the finals or whatnot, Scaz. But Jaylen Brown was talking about how certain nights they work on things because of who they're playing. And I believe the quote was, one night we were playing, no disrespect to the Detroit Pistons, who have struggled over the last year or two, but tonight we're going to play through Peyton Pritchard. Well, then he went off for 30. Play through Sam. Let him shoot 10 threes tonight. And we'll still win the game. Do you remember that quote? I do.
Finding different ways to lead also sometimes means that sacrifice where, in a night we playing, don't mean to disrespect them, but the Detroit Pistons, who have struggled over the last year or two, we're going to play through Peyton, let him go for 30. And play through Sam, let him shoot 10 threes tonight. We're going to still win the game. It don't have to be the normal way, but that gives those guys confidence. It gives those guys ability to run free, and we're going to need that down the line.
Receipts. We need a segment called Receipts. Just every day, Scaz, we got receipts. Either it could be our own receipt. It could be I don't know, like a Ole Miss basketball coach. I don't know. You know what I mean? It could be one of those things. Receipt of the night brought to you by blank. Who's out there? Let's do it. Ooh, do you think the Pistons remember that one, Scaz? I don't know. Did Jaylen Brown play tonight? He was out, right? I just want to make sure that he was the one who said that. We'll let Luke Cornett get 10 shots, or will he get Sam? How did they do tonight? Let's I like to troll other teams every once in a while. Got to give it back sometimes. How did Luke Cornett? Luke Cornett did not play tonight, personal reasons. How did Sam Hauser do? He had 3 points on 1 shot. Wait a second. What? Is that true? How did Sam Hauser only play 12 minutes tonight, Scaz? How did that happen? How did he only get 1 shot out when they wanted to mess around and give him 10? Again, I don't care that they lost, but let's keep it real. He called them out. He said, let's give Sam 10 shots. How come he got 1 tonight?
JB's not the coach, Joe,
He's not the coach.
Jordan Walsh played 15 minutes tonight, and Sam Hauser and Keita both played, 12 and 11. So, yeah, I think that's, if you want to look at something for tonight, the bench was not good. But this has been kind of a Hauser thing for a while. He goes through stretches where he's just not good on the road. This was a thing last year, too, heading into the playoffs. Some people were worried about how the bench would look on the road. Obviously, it played out fine for the Celtics last year. But, yeah, I think Hauser has had a little bit of a regression this year. We kept hearing about how he wasn't a terrible defender last year and that teams would switch on to him and it would, help the Celtics play into their favor. We haven't gotten as much of that this year. But yeah, if he's going to be out there, his whole thing is knocking down threes. That's why he's here. He can't be taking one shot in 12 minutes. That's just, what are you doing?
Nope. Unacceptable. I'm once again not concerned one bit about the loss tonight. But people say things about the Celtics, and what do? We troll them after. JB, who did not play tonight, he's dealing with a thigh contusion, they called it.
Yeah, Missoula postgame said that he's just managing it. He's still pretty banged up, but it's something they're monitoring.
I don't care if he plays Friday, I'm in, and then see what happens. But just, I wonder if the Pistons sports radio is playing that one tonight. Right? Because I would. This is about the Pistons, everybody. Am I buying the hype? I'm not. But I think Cade Cunningham's here. I think Cade Cunningham is now becoming a star. What people thought he would be. Hey, they blew that thing up. Remember, they fired their coach. They've done a lot there in Detroit. That's what this is about. They believed in a rebuild. They fired, was it Monty? He got a ton of money, remember? Monty Williams got all that big money, gave him the big deal. And look at him now.
Even before that, they had Dwayne Casey, who I'm pretty sure won a Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Well, he might have. It was weird. The Raptors, Dwayne Casey was, got fired from there too, I believe. So, winning that Coach of the Year, not so great. But yeah, JB Bickerstaff, a guy who has done more with less in a couple different places. He was good with those Cleveland teams. He's a solid coach.
What is their coach's? What's their director's name? Bass Boyd, is it? I forget his first name. But they've done well in this spot. I think they deserve all the credit here. Who's a part of their basketball operations? RJ Hunter. This team has come a really long way. They were. I thought the Pistons were in one of the worst spots in all the NBA.
We're coming up on March Madness, Joe. Do you know who the president of basketball operations for the Detroit Pistons is?
Please don't tell me you're going to say RJ Hunter.
No, it's a Dookie.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, were you listening to me, Scaz?
No, I was listening. I heard that. It's a Dookie from the mid to late 90s. From Alaska, Joe. High school in Alaska.
High school in Alaska. Man, 90s?
Drafted 11th overall in 99 by the Cavs. Didn't pan out in the NBA, though.
Danny Ferry? No. 90s? Oh, man. Any hints?
Oh, man. He was a McDonald's All-American.
Man, okay, so Leitner, Grant Hill.
He turned the ball over against UConn in the 99 tournament.
Oh, not Cherokee Parks. I got nothing.
Trajan Langdon.
Trajan Langdon.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's taken over.
Yes.
Trajan Langdon has taken over. Yeah. Nice player in the league. Yeah, Trajan Langdon's been really the guy that's put together everything and has made the trades and built
just another Dookie.
Smart guy.
Hell of a career overseas, too.
Yeah, Trajan Langdon, they interviewed everyone and they came away with him being the guy. Like that, you want to look at what the Pistons did? They did a process. Like they were hiring guys and paying guys just to come to Detroit. Now, they had a whole process. They identified Langdon as the guy. Man, he was a really good player.
I knew that was right in your wheelhouse, too. 90s.
And you know what's so funny is here I am thinking of the GM, and I'm like, I know that they have some sort of he was an international player. I want to say it was Mistili Bass Boyd. He's one of their does a lot of basketball stuff for them, but they've really turned that program around. I think Trajan Langdon's the guy that's really had a big impact in it. But I think the Pistons, I don't want to call them for real, but they're on my radar.
Would you rather have the Pistons process or the 76ers process?
Well, at least the money that the Pistons threw out was coaching, right? Like Monty Williams doesn't need to do anything anymore. Man, the 76ers situation, dude. Well, the good news is that Paul George decided today that he was going to take some time off from his podcast to focus on basketball.
Yeah, got to shut it down for the championship run.
There's 24 games left in the season. Did they win tonight? They were on, right?
No, they actually had a great comeback against the Knicks and then choked it away in the final 30 seconds.
I didn't see. I saw them coming back and I didn't want to say anything. Oh, that's a tough say. We were talking about this and I know some people are on the line, but let's just throw a hypothetical Embiid trade out there. It's hard, right? The money, his durability, giving up any assets, right? I just threw out Oklahoma City just to throw them out. Like, let's say they can't get over the hump. And listen, I know they probably don't want to bring someone in to mess up what they're doing. I understand that. So maybe there's another team out there, but what could the 76ers expect in return for Joel Embiid? What is like a realistic, because are they better with him? Right? Like, are they going to get 50 cents on the dollar?
Yeah, probably.
Like
he's damaged goods, unfortunately.
Chet Holmgren for Joel Embiid?
No shot.
Makes no sense for Oklahoma City.
No shot.
But I look at it as, would a team like Oklahoma City give something like that up for it?
I think you're almost better off if it's like Durant for Embiid or like someone like that, where like it's another older guy and they're just trying to make the money work and a change of scenery. Because whatever Phoenix is doing is not working also. They're another team who Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, bring all these superstars together and it hasn't worked. It's not the right mix. It's terrible. So maybe something like that. But yeah, I don't know. If you're a team, like, why do you want Embiid? Why do you want that salary for a guy who's never out there?
Do you know who I think he'd be a good fit with? Meaning pairing him with a coach who might be able to teach him about being a pro and being tough. Houston. Like, I don't know if they need the big. Maybe they do. I'm just spitballing. Like, they have talent that maybe the 76ers would want. It's not like they're giving up one of their big prospects. You are right, though. A Durant for Embiid trade, it's probably an upgrade for the 76ers. But now Phoenix is stuck with another big, right? They hated Ayton when he was there. And whatever happened to him, by the way? These bigs just become trees. God. Yeah. Win Detroit Pistons. But in that league, though, right, just to credit the Pistons one more time, when you look in that league, the NBA, Brooklyn is just like hanging on for dear life, trying to find something or someone that just can be like a star to build around. The Raptors are trying to get better. I think they're trying to piece it out and continue to grow with Scotty Barnes and guys like that, right? Just like the Bulls are nothing. The Hawks are hanging on to Trae Young, but he's going to bounce at some point. The Hornets have ball. Orlando's building something. Like maybe Miami can somehow attract a big-time free agent. Washington's toast. Like there are some teams in the league that I don't know how to fix them, and the Pistons were one of those teams. I thought Cade Cunningham was going to be a bust. Starting to work out a little bit, right? Like, I give them credit for being able to move on from their head coach. Like that, they weren't afraid to like make changes. I know every NBA team does it. It just worked with the Pistons. All right, I'll stop slobbering all over the the Pistons tonight because I thought they won. Somebody mentioned Doug Collins reached the 76ers to the 13. That was the Iggy, Drew, Evan Turner, Elton Brand team. Right. Oh, yeah, Andrew Bynum was on Philly, right? Man, Embiid's owed $248 million over the next 4 years. Jeez. I don't even know what his value would be. Bill is in Boston. Hey, Bill.
Joe, what's up, my man?
What's up?
Hey, love the college basketball talk. But I heard a Trajan Langdon earlier, which you corrected him, Trajan Langdon.
Trajan.
How do you call my man Billy Curley, Bobby Curley, the Boston College guy?
Did I say Bobby or Billy?
You said Bobby.
Well, I knew Billy and Mickey.
Yeah.
If I said Bobby, I made an error.
Hey, I only call him. He's my cousin, man. I had to correct you.
No way. Are you like a, what were they, Duxbury guys?
Duxbury guys.
Yeah. Mickey had a nice little run after Billy.
Not as good, but yeah, he got in there.
And then Billy played for the Pistons. He
sure did.
He was big. Those guys were local legends, man.
Sure were.
Why don't they bring those guys back, like, to BC? Like, I don't know. Like, what's BC?
They're pretty old now, Joe.
No, I know they're old. What I meant is, like, how come... But, I mean, how many... Oh, like that. He was on those big BC teams that went deep into the final, right? North Carolina, was that who they beat?
That's right. Elite Eight. Well, lost in the Elite Eight.
So who had a better run, UMass or BC? And I know everyone's going to say
UMass.
I know that, but UMass played Kentucky and lost before the championship game in the Final Four. Let's not forget Big Country Reeves owned Marcus Camby.
Absolutely. Big Country Reeves.
But Billy Curley, nobody thought that Billy Curley would take a team to the Elite Eight.
That's right.
So I almost think it was more impressive what BC did than UMass.
Well, I appreciate that, Joe. Great show. Love you, man.
Thank you. That was some curly talk right there, baby. Guys, this was the 90s. This was the 90s.
Back when people cared about college basketball.
UMass had John Calipari with future NBA stars like Lou Rowe and Marcus Camby.
Star doing a lot of heavy lifting in that Lou Rowe, but
Boston College led by Duxbury's own Billy Curley. I'll have to look up. Was that the 94 BC Eagles? Do it. Here I go. I'm just demanding people to look things up. I don't think Dana no. I remember shoveling my basketball court out I got so hyped because BC went to the Elite Eight. I went outside and shoveled so I could play basketball. I wanted to shoot hoop so bad. But locally here, though, that was all we had. And then the who's our buddy there, went to BC, got kicked out, Chris Herron. Because the two best guys in the area at that time were Chris Herron and Scooney Penn. I probably have talked about this story a bunch, but Scooney Penn was like a 5'6" point guard who was about to go to BC. Was a star at Salem, I believe. And then Chris Herron. But anyways, what do we got, Scaz? Look it up.
Joe, would you like 93, 94, or 94, 95?
Give them all, baby.
All right, 93, 94 has 3 guys that made it to the NBA on the roster. Can you name the other 2 that are not Bill Curley?
Yeah, one's a coach now. Now tell me.
One is a center. One is a guard, Joe. Paul Grant.
Okay, yep.
And Howard Isley.
Howard Isley played for the Jazz. He was very good. He's in the league, or he's coaching somewhere. Howard Isley, yeah, I saw that recently, I believe. Howard Isley, what the hell's he doing these days?
23 and 11. 11 and 7 in the Big East.
Not bad, huh? Yeah, he was a good player. He played 12 years in the NBA. Where's he working now? Why can't I find that? Yeah, he was a good player. What was the next year? Who they have the next year?
Not good the following year, Joe. They were 9 and 19.
That's not good.
But they did have Chris Herron.
That's right.
And Paul Grant.
How'd Chris Herron do?
Yeah, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists.
As a freshman out of high school.
Their best player was Danya Abrams.
Danye Abrams. Look up his weight.
22, 9, and 2.
Danye Abrams was awesome. He actually played overseas. I've interviewed him. I interviewed him maybe like 10 years ago. But he was one of the star players internationally. He was a star. Dude, he was bigger body than Barkley, if you could imagine it. He might have been 6'5", 6'6", played power forward. He had to be 280 pounds.
6'7".
Wait. Danye Abrams had to be 280 in college.
He looks ripped in the pictures I'm seeing.
Really?
Ha. No weight listed, Joe. I don't know if they were doing that back
I don't know
then.
what happened with that one.
3-time All Big East.
He was awesome. He locked down Big Dog Glenn Robinson once. Remember him? Number 1 overall pick. His kid now plays in the league. R.I.P., I believe.
Danya Abrams listed at 251, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's being kind. I loved him. I wanted to be Danya Abrams. Do you know that? Back in the day. I wanted to play power forward like Danya Abrams. 3-time Big East power forward. All right. Well, I hope I tickled everybody their fancy as March Madness. March starts Saturday. Who's on BC now? Who's the coach? I don't know anything. What about the kid from Brockton? What's he doing? Saw that story today. Who had that? Our buddy Dan Shaughnessy? Oh, no. Somebody had that from the Globe today. Who was that? Himmelsbach? I'm going to just start rattling off every reporter. All right, we should hit the headline now, huh?
Yes, Joe. And we might have a minor story coming out of the Combine that we might need to react to.
Are we going to talk to Barth tonight?
Yeah, let me shoot him a text.
Okay.
But check Slack, Joe. Something very
minor story.
Minor story, kind of funny.
Is that a tease?
It's a tease, Joe.
Okay.
Maybe we'll pay it off. Who knows?
Maybe. Let's hit the headlines. We'll get you caught up on everything. Feel free to call in. We're here until 11 o'clock tonight. Scaz is here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports.
He scored! What a blast by Pastrnak!
But he really wasn't thinking that hard because it was a tongue twister. Headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss with a 98% customer satisfaction rating and thousands of 5-star reviews. The choice is clear. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update soon.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, Celtics lost tonight, everybody. 117-97 was the final. They lost to the Pistons. You can feel free to react to it. We'll do some Patriot stuff, and we're going to talk to Alex Barth about a half hour from now. He's at the Combine. Okay, so when it comes to breaking news in the world, somebody always has to be the guy. And this leads into a couple of stories. We probably missed one the other night, but Adrian Wojnarowski wants to offer up the cell phones that he used to break news, Woj bombs. We haven't had really a lot of time to discuss that here on the show. I would just like to say once again, I am not a reporter. I don't report. I see stories. I see stuff on Twitter. We throw it in Slack, and we instantly react to it. That's the name of the game. There's no reporting going on over here. Just takes. That's it. Authentic takes. So, the Woj stuff out. But in basketball, now it's Shams, right? Shams is the guy, but now he's affiliated with like a sports book, so it's like, where's the information really coming from with him? Then when it comes to football, Adam Schefter, right? He's the guy that's kind of plugged in, one of the big famous guys. And then you start to think about the other networks, right? We have our very own Burt Breer, who's now with Amazon, right? And Sports Illustrated, their MQB. NFL Network has Ian Rappaport, right? You know where they got, like Ed Warder was with ESPN for years, covered the Cowboys. You know who they are. Jay Glazer comes out. He's got info, right? Imagine running into a coffee shop and meeting one of these guys. Well, according to some reports out there, courtesy of Pro Football Talk, which would be Mike Florio, correct? So another verified, bona fide reporter. There was a verbal altercation between a few beat writers at an Indianapolis Starbucks on Wednesday afternoon. What do you think they wrote on their cups? Who do you think they are? Let's take guesses. I know you know, Scaz, so don't say anything. But I'm actually curious to our friends that are watching in chat right now. Who do you think got into it? Now, both these people are in my phone. That's not a flex because we've had them on the show many times, or we've tried to a couple of times. I know that. But this doesn't surprise me. I know one of these, who'd they come on with? The Beetle and Zoe, okay. And then the other one is NFL Network, who worked here for a bit. Everyone writes Burt Breer. Burt Breer. No, it actually was not Burt Breer. According to Pro Football Talk, Jordan Schultz of Fox, who's a listener, by the way. What's up? Hey, Jordan. How you doing, bro? Verbally accosted Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. Again, this happened at an Indianapolis Starbucks. The scouting combine brings the entire NFL community together, and for better and for worse. Per multiple sources who witnessed the interaction, Jordan Schultz of Fox and Ian Rappaport engaged in a verbal altercation on Wednesday afternoon at the Starbucks at the JW Marriott in Indianapolis. Schultz, we're told, accosted Rappaport. The incident first came to widespread light when PFT commentator posted a tweet Wednesday night that referred to a serious big-time media confrontation between two NFL newsbreakers. The tweet sparked much speculation in an effort to get to the bottom of the situation. The fact that it happened at a Starbucks provides an intriguing coincidence. Schultz is the son of former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. Did not know that. We're told that Rappaport was talking to an agent. Schultz approached Rappaport and said, "We need to talk." Or specific words to that effect. Rappaport replied, "We were told, we don't need to talk." Paraphrasing. Schultz then made accusations about Rappaport, we're told. Rappaport, we're told, regards the accusations as unfounded. The two men were essentially face to face. Quote, if you have anything to say to me, say it to my bleeping face, Schultz said. Or specific words to that effect. If this continues, we're going to have a bleeping problem. As noted below, Schultz does not recall using profanity. Rappaport then asked Schultz to step back. If this happens again, we're going to have a bleeping problem, Schultz said. Or specific words to that effect. Now I'll step back. The incident was reported to NFL security, and the NFL security has taken statements from multiple witnesses. Rappaport declined to comment on the situation. Schultz, though, told PFT via text message, it really isn't anything too much. Ian Rappaport and I had a verbal confrontation. It lasted a little over a minute. Multiple agents and reporters were nearby. Rappaport was the one who called security shortly after, but it never escalated further. Schultz initially disputed the number of expletives in the account. He then said he recalls using none. Rappaport told the witness that NFL security was informed of the exchange because it was regarded as a threat of physical violence. The NFL did not immediately respond to the comment. So where do you think this started, Scaz? Because I believe there's a little bit more to this, but where do you... Okay.
I know where it started.
Okay, tell me.
Joe, Tom Brady is the reason that I believe this spat happened.
Oh.
The reports earlier today that Tom Brady and Matt Stafford bumped into each other, quote unquote, is what some people are using in Montana at a ski resort, and they had a little meeting about Matt Stafford's future.
Bumped into each other.
That is how Ian Rappaport reported, I believe.
Okay.
Rappaport,
And Schultz thinks that.
And Schultz was tweeting 6 hours earlier today that I have a bridge to sell you. If you believe that they bumped into each other accidentally in Montana. So to me, this seems like Jordan Schultz, who you said is a listener. Hey,
what's up, Jordan? What's up, bro?
Also sounds like you might need to just take a breather, dude.
Well, I don't know about that. I need more.
Joe, if you're getting in a fight at a Starbucks, you're a tool. I'm sorry. What are we doing? You're a grown man. You're going to go up to Ian Rappaport and you're pulling a Johnny Gomes. You're going to try and fight the guy in the supermarket. Like, what are we doing?
I'm interested. What are the odds?
You think he said my dad owns this place? You think he dropped one of those?
Now that one, I'm out.
That's not a good look.
Listen, dude. I know.
Do you know who my dad is? You're going to fight with me in this Starbucks?
If someone did, do you know who my dad is? They're getting. Listen, I'm not going to talk.
I don't think you need to get in a physical fight over your Tom Brady, Matt Stafford source war.
So, you know how these guys are. Scaz, not a reporter over here.
Certainly not, Joe.
Not a reporter. So I don't care who breaks the news first.
No.
I don't care.
I certainly don't care who's arguing about the news either.
I don't care either. Don't care about that. But, Jordan Schultz has called into the show before. He does work for Fox. He's tapped in with some agents. He knows some players. I think he has a relationship with people in the NFL. I'm not going to dismiss any of that. Could you say that Ian Rappaport does it on a higher platform where Schultz may feel as though using the language such as bumped into each other might have rubbed Schultz the wrong way because it's not being genuine?
No, and I'm sure Jordan Schultz has never carried anybody's water or reported anything other than that was exact fact. No, I'm sure that's how he conducts business. And I'm not like a huge Rappaport guy. I don't care at all. But I just think if you're going out of your way to try and start something in front of NFL agents who are basically like these guys' bosses, who these guys answer to, that's how they're getting all their scoops. You're looking for something. You're trying. I don't know. You're trying to be a hero. You're trying to start a fight at a Starbucks. I just think you're kind of a tool.
Have you ever had a confrontation with somebody at a coffee shop?
No, I don't venture into enough coffee shops.
I have to think about this for a little.
Well, Joe, you had an incident at a gas station not too long ago, I believe, but I think it was
that was with the Dunkin' Donuts
Okay,
person. Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry.
that was a coffee shop.
Damn. I haven't been back since. You know that?
Well, Joe, we'll just, imagine someone works at a company, similar to ours, but a rival.
Okay.
And you see them out in public and they say, Joe, I heard your take on the Elliot Wolf's press conference. We got a problem. It's like, what are we doing here? How do you think that's going to go?
That's happened before.
Oh, boy.
You know what I say to him? Hey, how's everything going over there? How you doing? How's it going?
Yeah, I was speaking in generalities, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Hey, how's it going over there? How you doing? How you doing? Okay, I have to think about this. I'm trying to think if it's ever happened in this town. Like, listen, the Globe and the Herald had a nice little run for a long time,
We have boots on the ground. We're going to have first.
I know. We're going to talk to Barth in a little bit.
Hopefully Barth was getting coffee earlier.
I know. What do you think? Does he think it says Schultze on?
We need to get these guys' measurements at the combine tomorrow. Let's get Rappaport and Schultz's measurements, and we'll set a line, Joe.
The best part about this is PFT commentator.
A guy just looking to get into the mud.
So what do you think they put on Rappaport's cup? Like when I don't order coffee anymore. What happens now is when I like to use the mobile, and they usually just leave a receipt there, but it does say my name. I don't think you're a coffee drinker, are you either, Scaz?
Not a big coffee drinker.
Does Trent drinks coffee? Do you have people write on your coffee cup?
Not a coffee guy either.
So I can't relate to the whole Starbucks incident. I don't think. I mean, have I gone out somewhere before and someone says, "Hey Joe, I bet this game tonight. You suck." Yeah, 1,000,000 times.
Might have happened in the studio.
It has happened in the studio. But a confrontation, Jordan Schultz. I need to know. I don't know. This would be good. We have his number. What do you think? Do you think he was okay? Do you feel like he felt like Rappaport was on his turf, and that nothing would happen because his dad owns a Starbucks? Now we're starting to get a little. Now I'm getting into the weeds.
What was he hoping for? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What's the best possible scenario?
Was
here?
he hoping to throw coffee? I don't know.
Was he hoping to beat up Ian Rappaport? Because then you look really tough. Because Ian Rappaport is a monster of a man, as we all know.
Trent, can you look up reporters who have fought?
Hey, what's Gottlieb up to these days? He's got to be getting into it with somebody.
Oh, he sucks right now.
He mentions Jim Rome. Remember Jim Rome and Chris Everett?
Chris Everett. But listen, just real quick on that one. Chris Everett was a great tennis player, right? A female tennis player. And Jim Everett goes, "Call me Chris again." And he said, "Chris, I think Jim Rome deserved that." Jim Rome absolutely deserved that. He taunted him. I watched Vince McMahon once get taunted about something, and he got mad. I remember the wrestler who slapped the guy who said wrestling was fake, right?
Yeah, I have a list of athlete media fights, but not media on media crime.
Is this a first?
Yeah, it's had to have happened.
I'm just thinking about it. Did Shaughnessy and Buck ever get into it? Would Shaughnessy challenge Buck to an inning? I'm going to pitch at the old time baseball game while you're in the batter's box? I can't remember. I don't know. You know who would have more on this? Maz. I feel like McAdam would want to sock somebody. Just thinking about the old beat. You know who I think could hold his own? Andrew Callahan. I think he could hold his own on the beat.
Yeah, I also think he's like a level-headed individual who's not going to try and fight anybody
He would not
at Starbucks.
I know. Well, what about Tom Curran?
He's going to fight somebody at Starbucks. If there was odds out there that he'd probably be a favorite.
He would be the Boston Reporter contestant. It's Curran. He would be the representative here. It would have to be a Dunks, of course.
Of course. Always.
It would have to be a Dunks. I'm just, who would it be against, Would you have to, use, a New York writer? We could always get, Tommy Garino and those guys. And Prosciutto Papi, you know how they all go to the deli? Maybe you could have, two sports writers walk up to the deli. One's from New York, one's from... I don't know. All right, I'm getting carried away here now. We got to hit the break. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub. We're going to talk to Alex Barth in just a little bit. He's in Indianapolis. But I feel like I pretty much like everybody in the media. There's a couple of people out there who've trashed me. But they don't know me at all, so that's kind of why I don't like them. But that is meeting at a Starbucks and talking trash. That's a good one. Howard Schultz was the Sonics owner from 01 to 06. Sold the team to OKC-based Clay Bennett, who moved the team to Oklahoma City. So Howard Schultz, former Sonics owner. Very interesting. One other thing on this, because we got to go to break in a minute here. Do you think Brady has guys that he gives info to? Could Brady give the info to Rappaport? And I just am curious. Hey, man, send out a tweet for me, bud. Remember, someone just sent this one to me. Remember when the Byron Leftwich went into the wrong house? Do we believe that? Do you believe that story? Or was that a Rappaport?
Wasn't it Brady that went into the wrong house?
Oh, I thought it was Rappaport. I thought it was Leftwich. Oh, no, Brady entered Byron Leftwich. Yeah, the wrong Leftwich.
Yeah, Brady went to the wrong house,
That's right.
I think. Yeah.
Do you think that really happened?
Yeah, they interviewed the guy's house it was, I'm pretty sure. We got the whole, Tom Brady walked into my house.
Just trying to put a little Brady Rappaport connection there. Because you said it's Brady's fault. Tom Brady's still causing drama in the NFL, especially at the Combine. At a Starbucks. I love Tom Brady's my guy. Hey, listen. Car vault by Tom Brady now, Oh, we'll talk to Alex Barth. We'll find out if he's got anything on this. What do you think Barth drinks? I don't drink coffee anymore, but man, I used to love a French vanilla, grande French vanilla iced regular with a blueberry muffin. Oh! I haven't had it in so long, Scaz. Doing mornings, though, that stuff gave me a buzz, bro. Now it's Celsius, everybody. All right, we'll talk to Alex Barth coming up next here on the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
117-97. That was the loss tonight. combine, but at the local coffee shops as well. A lot of reporters there today, and they're all excited for the combine. Our conversation with Alex Barth brought to you by Blue Bear Plumbing. Blue Bear, they're here to keep your home comfortable year-round. From expert plumbing, drain cleaning, heating, tune-ups, maintenance, and installs, they do it all. Trust a local company your neighbors rely on. Visit bluebearplumbing.com and the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. It's Alex Barth. Alex, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, Joe. What's going on?
Oh, not much, man. I watched a little. I'll get you caught up on some things in a bit, but I was watching a little of the combine today. It sounds like Abdul Carter's pretty confident that he should be the number 1 overall pick.
He should be. I mean, you talk to people down here, he's the guy that there's the least questions about. Travis Hunter's obviously an incredible talent, but his development path isn't exactly clear. Is he going to play wide receiver? Is he going to play corner? How much is he going to play both ways? You know, what does he want to do? How acceptable is he going to be to different strategies? So in terms of, highest floor, highest ceiling combined, Abdul Carter's kind of running away with it, I think.
Yeah, what happened today? And I know everything kind of kicks off tomorrow, right?
Right.
So any other storylines today? Like I said, I kind of watched a little of what was going on there, but is there any anything you're hearing on the quarterbacks, any 40 times, anything going on today?
So the workouts begin tomorrow. We got to talk to the defensive linemen and linebackers today, and it was a very common theme when you talk to them and, you ask guys, what teams have you met with? Have you met with, I'll ask about the Patriots. And the guys that have met with Patriots, rave reviews for Mike Vrabel, and the sort of terms or phrases that kept coming up, serious, intense, down to business, things like that. Players were talking about him coaching them up at the Senior Bowl when he was not a part of that coaching staff. He was just there to scout, but really rave reviews from the prospects. Now, that's his position, right? Linebacker, defensive lineman. So you figure those are the guys he can connect with the most, but really rave reviews from the prospects he's talked to.
Hey, Alex, did you hear the comment from Adam Schefter that players 10 through 35, there's really no difference? Do you think that maybe there's only 5 to maybe 8 great players in this draft?
I think there's 7. I have 7, and then what do you do with the quarterbacks, right? Do they count as those top-tier players because of the position, or do you bump them down to the next one? But of those 7, that includes Ashton Genty, who's a running back, and how our team's going to value him and where is he going to go. So it's definitely smaller. And then the Schefter said, I didn't see that, but you said 10 to 35. I've heard that range given is very comparable. I've also heard 15 to 50. And that's kind of the thought here. As much as this is portrayed as a weak class, and I talked to Lance Zierlein about this today, you can check it out on the Sports Hub YouTube page. The middle of the draft is actually relatively strong for what the average draft is. It's just that there's no real top part of the draft. It's not top heavy. You don't have that elite talent, but the depth is there, especially at positions like edge rusher and tight end and running back.
So that was one thing. Elliot Wolf finally spoke today for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
He took accountability for the roster last year. Vrabel yesterday talked about upgrading the roster. One of the things Wolf also said was the offensive line. He was, obviously had the comment about happy with what they had, but it almost leaned as though they're open to trading the 4th round pick if the number 4 overall pick if something comes up. It also sounded like they are thinking about the interior, whether it's line or defensive line.
So I think in terms of trading the pick, just about everybody says this time of year we're open for business because they want to see that's out there. And that's what they should do, right? See what's available. If there's a great offer for the 4th overall pick, whether it's not that much to move up or you're getting a haul to move down, you should consider it. I think they said the same thing or something very similar last year around this time. So I wouldn't read too much into that. As for the part about building the trenches, that continues to be telegraphed by Wolf, by Vrabel, by everybody that's where they're going to start off getting this roster going again. The offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, pass rush, that seems to be where they want to start their focus.
Just a couple other things I wanted to ask you about was Pat Stewart. Tell us about this guy. It looks like he's going to Nebraska. Did he just kind of get phased out with Mike Vrabel coming in?
It might have been some of that. You see guys jumping to these college general manager jobs now quite a bit. The big news today, I'm standing outside, in kind of a similar move, Jim Nagy, who runs the Senior Bowl or ran the Senior Bowl, took the GM job at Oklahoma.
Oh.
And that you would think, running the Senior Bowl, having your own show, first going to work and recruited a college program. These seem to be pretty desirable jobs. Now, Nebraska's not Oklahoma at this point, but I think we're going to see more guys go to that sort of role.
Well, Matt Rule's there. They got a young, great quarterback, right? Like,
yep.
Could be on the upswing there. Just a couple other things. Devin Godshaw, with the new defense that they're going to be running, has permission to talk to other teams. He obviously got the extension after arguing about it last year, so he's had back-to-back years of extensions. What do you think could be the return on Godshaw?
I can't imagine they get more than Judon. So I think you started a fourth-round pick. Even that may be a bit much for an older guy who plays a position in like that true two-gapping nose tackle that's kind of being phased out around the league. If they can get a day 3 pick, great. That's more ammunition to trade up. Maybe they try a pick swap so they net a higher pick. But I would guess a day 3 pick is probably the return. They'll get something. He's a good enough player, they'll get something. But I don't think they're adding a top 100 pick.
Anything going on or chatter about the grades that some NFL owners got? Are you hearing anything on the Patriots side of things?
I mean, just the talk in general was sort of, one, it dropping during Combine Week is interesting because everybody is here. And specifically for Elliott Wolf, it dropped hour and a half, 2 hours, I think, before he spoke. And he was asked about it. He said he hadn't got a chance to look at it. But there were some people like, why exactly does the NFL do this, right? And it's the NFLPA, it's not the NFL, but it keeps owners honest, it keeps teams honest, but also it can make teams look bad. So as you know, Patriots finishing in 31st obviously isn't flattering. So it was kind of about the exercise itself, which is relatively new. I think this is the third year, but didn't hear too much specifically on the Patriots and their grades.
All right. Did you hear what happened at a local Starbucks today?
So I have seen the headline. I haven't seen much beyond that. I know that it's about the Stafford report, right?
Yes. So Ian Rappaport of NFL Media was at a Starbucks.
Yep.
Then Jordan Schultz walked in, whose father happens to own Starbucks.
Right.
And basically chirped at Rappaport, yes, about the report about bumping into Brady. Step to him, get out of my face, blah, blah, blah. Happened in front of a bunch of people. PFT commentator, the first on it, of course. But can you think of any type of other spats between reporters in your lifetime?
Between reporters, not a ton. Between like a reporter and an athlete, a reporter and a coach, certainly. But two reporters, especially in that sort of setting, we get the source sauce all the time. We like to laugh about those.
Source war.
But those usually don't end up going in person. That's usually an online-only exercise. So maybe I'm missing an obvious one, but nothing comes to the top of my head.
I'm going to set the odds on this one. Jordan Schultz, a hothead. He might be the favorite here. I don't know. Might have to set some odds. Maybe they should do their own combine, like a 40-yard dash or whatever.
There you go.
Yeah, well, stay out of the Starbucks over there, Alex. What are you up to tonight?
Well, no, I might miss something at the Starbucks.
I know it's true. What are you up to tonight? What do you got going on?
Just grab dinner. Going to meet up with some other Patriots reporters now.
Yeah, what'd you guys eat?
I finally got to do the St. Elmo shrimp. I'd been here. This is my third night.
What do you think? What do you think? Give us the Barth rundown.
As advertised, it hits you. It hits you pretty hard. The bartender told me, he goes, it's going to clear your sinuses right up.
So it was spicy.
It's spicy, but it doesn't linger. Like it fades away quick enough that you still get to enjoy it. So I thought it was really good. It hits you hard. It was really good.
Did you use the cocktail sauce too, or did you just go raw?
Yeah, no, that's what it is. It's the cocktail sauce.
Yeah, and it really got you, huh? Yeah. All right. Well, you go out with the guys. I can hear them being like, "Come on, Barth, let's go, man." And go enjoy your night, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me.
All right, it's Alex Barth partying up in Indianapolis right now. Good for him. That cocktail sauce, though. Got to watch out for that every once in a while. All right. Thanks, Alex. St. Elmo's, huh? I just want to look at the shrimp. There we go. Google Images. St. Elmo's shrimp. I have seen the St. Elmo's cocktail shrimp at the store before. The cocktail sauce, excuse me. Do you like shrimp cocktail?
I like shrimp. I'm not really a big sauce guy.
So you don't like the shrimp cocktail sauce?
No.
Oh, baby.
Also, Joe, we didn't really get too much into this the other night, but crab, better than lobster.
Really?
I'm in that department, yeah. Give me a soft shell crab, any crab.
I like the Jonah. You ever had the blue crab?
Oh, yeah.
That's what everybody loves. That cocktail sauce looks so good. I can't stop thinking of Half-Baked when I say it. I want your cocktail. Fruit. We'll wrap things up here on the other side. I'm Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.
at UMass, and they beat UMass, who was number 1 in the country, and Dickie V went absolutely nuts, and it was a childhood memory of mine. Then we talked about the story that came out today at the Combine. No, not Abdul Carter saying that he's the number 1 pick. Not Jalen Milroe's 40-yard dash. It was the incident tweeted out by PFT commentator that an altercation between 2 NFL newsbreakers sparked at a local Starbucks. Schultz, the son of the former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz, we're told that Rappaport was talking to an agent. Schultz approached Rappaport and said, "We need to talk." Rappaport replied, "We don't need to talk." Schultz then made accusations about Rappaport. We're told in regards the accusations were as unfounded. The 2 men were essentially face to face. "If you have anything to say to me, say it to my face," said Schultz, reportedly. Rappaport then asked Schultz to step back. "If it happens again, we're going to have a problem," reportedly said Schultz. "Now I'll step back." The incident was reported to NFL Security. NFL Security has taken statements from multiple witnesses. Rappaport declined to comment on the situation. Schultz told PFT via text, "It really isn't anything too much." Ian Rappaport and I had a verbal confrontation. It lasted a little over a minute. Multiple agents and reporters were nearby. Rappaport was the one who called security shortly after, but it never escalated further. Would you call security? Because I'm not.
No.
So, just so I have it one more time. Starbucks, Rappaport talking to an agent. Schultz walks in and says, "We need to talk." They went face-to-face. Basically, this happens again, we're going to have a bleeping problem. What happened? Was it the face?
Source war.
Was it being at the Starbucks?
Source war.
Was he mad that he was at a Starbucks?
Yeah, his dad owns him. He can't be in there.
Because he brings up stories that they bumped into each other. I would love to have Jordan Schultz on. Feel free, buddy. Come on down. Come on down, baby. I believe he's a collector as well. So we had, and then we just had Alex Barth on, who went to St. Elmo's tonight. And we talked shrimp, and we found out that Scaz, raw dog shrimp. No sauce.
Out on the cocktail sauce.
This has been a saucy week, huh? A lot of sauce talk going on. Thanks, everybody, for joining.